Hey, Vineyard Church, let's take a few moments together to talk about our church's mission statement, joining God's mission, transforming all things. Let's talk about that first phrase on the front end, joining God's mission. We simply don't invite God into our own story, right? Instead, we recognize that God has a story. God has a narrative and a plan and a purpose and a mission, and we want to be about joining his plans and his purposes, what he's actively doing in the world around us. And so at the Vineyard, instead of saying, God, come and be a part of my story, God, come and be a part of my life, we want to say, God, what are you up to and how can we join you? We, of course, saw this modeled to us in the life of Jesus. In the Gospel of John, chapter 5, Jesus said, my Father is always working, and so am I. Just a short bit later, Jesus continued by saying, I do nothing by myself. I only do what I see the Father doing. This is how Jesus lived, always aware of what God was up to and always joining him in his work. And we want to be the same, joining God's mission in all that we do. And what is God up to? That's where the second phrase comes in, transforming all things. And we know that this is a big phrase, right? All things. Of course, this is a big phrase, but this is truly what God is up to. He's interested in transforming your own personal relationship with him. He's interested in shaping you and teaching you, challenging you, discipling you, and even healing you. But he's also interested in transforming your relationships, your family. He's interested in transforming your work life, your neighborhood, the created world around you, and even your city and the surrounding world. We know that someday in the future, Revelation 21 tells us there'll be no more pain, no more tears, no more sickness, and no more death. And that is a beautiful promise about our future reality. But we can't be mistaken. Jesus also told us to pray, let your kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. This is a big kingdom prayer that Jesus is asking us to be a part of right here, right now. That we can have this hope for the future, but also we can experience heaven on earth today. Part of joining God's mission and transforming all things means asking the question, God, just how much of heaven can we experience today? Even though we may still experience things like pain and loss, death and tears in the midst of life, how can we be part of God's mission in bringing everyday transformation to everyday lives all around us? We also know that this phrase, transforming all things, is huge, and it's so big that you can get lost in the enormity of all things. And so one of the things that we say at the Vineyard is transforming all things by transforming small things. You see, we all have a part to play in this transformation process. God continues to invite us into the larger narrative of his kingdom, and sometimes that means doing small daily things with incredible amounts of love. It means loving your spouse or your kids in small daily activities. It means encouraging your neighbor or maybe your coworker. It means staying generous or consistently sitting in the place of prayer or being a person of incredible integrity and character. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, right? But we realize that we're never going to transform all things unless we're committed to transforming the small things. Final thought. Although our mission statement kind of has these two separate phrases, I think it would be a mistake if we always kept them isolated from one or another. If we just say joining God's mission, we can sometimes miscommunicate what that looks like or how it comes about. And at the same time, if we only ever say transforming all things, but we don't include the fact that it's God's mission and it's God's plan, pretty soon I think that we can start to transform things into our own image and not his. It's both of these phrases merged together that helps us understand who we feel called to be as a church and who we feel called to be as individuals. But we know that mission statements aren't worth anything unless there's action behind them. The truth is, a mission statement will just become a pithy cliche or written on a placard, stuck on a lobby somewhere, and we'll all soon forget about it unless we stay committed to living it out in our everyday lives. So join us in making this mission statement a reality at our church, because we want to be a church that's always looking to the Father to see what he's doing and participating alongside him as he transforms the world around us. We want to be a church that continues to press into transformation of individuals, families, work environments, neighborhoods, cities, regions, nations, and the entire world. Join us as we join God in the transformation of all things. Thanks for watching.